hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
It's the After Show, where we gather together to yak about this and that, and sometimes we don't even know what we've yacked about when we're done with it all. It's just amazing. You got Jim Kinsey over here. Hello, Mr. Jim.
Hello, sir. I can't believe you're even talking properly after all that sausage and potatoes and
oh my gosh!
bread.
When you're in Bavaria, it's like you're doing the sausages and the bread and the taters, and you go to, oh my God, I have to go back and get a salad. But it was great. We had a great time in Germany at the IWA show. Got to talk with a lot of interesting people from all over the world, gun people from New Zealand, and Australia, and Sweden, and just all over. And, you know,
they probably think we're a little different, huh?
Yeah. And one guy from Australia, I said, well, you know, the gun thing. He says, no. He says, we live in Queensland. I said, okay. He says, no, you need to understand. Queensland is like Texas. We do whatever we want to do in Queensland. So we have guns here. He says, come down. Shoot stuff with me. I said, really? What? He says, shoot everything. What do they have? They got, like, you know, they shoot kangaroos. But you know what they have there?
Iguana?
They're trying to wipe out? No, camels.
Really?
I'm not kidding. And they got 1 million camels. Just wild feral camels. So, okay. That sounds weird, but I think I might have to do that.
Well, now you get the best part of your trip home is you get to talk to the real star of the after show, Michelle Cleland.
Oh, please.
Oh, my God. She's here. Hello.
Hello.
So was it just driving you crazy trying to correct me when people are asking about these guns? You go, no, that's not it, Tom. Jeez, what's wrong with you?
There's so many people that want to know so many values. There's lots of guns out there. Yeah.
And stuff was going by fast, and Steve Fiesta is trying to catch it, and people are talking. He's looking things up. I think one time somebody asked about an AR-7. He thought he was talking about an AR-15, and you and I are both going, no,
Seven.
22 rimfire.
Well, toward the end there, Michelle just say, it's worth $100.
No.
Yeah, hang on.
Drop them. Yeah.
She said, I'll give you $100 for it. Done. Okay.
Not.
But you probably got 30 calls the last hour or so.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know what their guns are worth.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, and if you weren't able to get in, go online. You know, bluebookofgunvalues.com. You can do it online. You can look it up. You get the whole deal. It's right there. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nice and easy.
Hey, Peter has called in from Anderson, South Carolina, which is actually pretty close to where my folks grew up. Spartanburg, Ware Shoals kind of area, I believe. Hey, Peter.
Good evening. Well, you know, you are fairly close to us, and in fact, my daughter is currently teaching up in Spartanburg now.
I'll be darned.
But
Okay.
but the reason I'm calling in, I'm sorry I missed Steve, although this is really not so much a value question as a philosophical question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 1905 Colt, the old 45 ACP parallel ruler gun that was the prototype to the 1911.
Right.
And as you know, there are not very many of those around.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it at a gun show some years ago, one of those evil gun shows. And the only reason I could afford it, it was a good news, bad news kind of thing. In its past life, it had been used hard and refinished, and most of the markings were gone. So they didn't have much of a price put on it. I could not have afforded it, of course, if it were original. But then that's the bad news, is that it has been refinished and most of the markings polished off. And, in fact, as I told Michelle, whoever did this decided to be sure we knew it was a Colt. So he took individual letter stamps and stamped on the side of the slide COL and the T kind of sideways.
I hope he spelled it right.
He did.
That always helps value, right? Oh, God.
Oh, my heavens.
So,
what a mixed bag you have there.
Well, exactly. I wrote to Colt with the serial number. It was a shipment of 4 that was sent out to the Copper Queen mine in New Mexico in 1915.
Nice.
And, you know, so it's really kind of interesting. And as you know, there are not very many of these around. And I kind of am mixed thoughts about at what point do you decide that something should be left alone because of history as opposed to refinishing? You know, I've toyed with sending it to Doug Turnbull and have him case harden it and so forth the way they do with some of those pistols and finish them up real nice. But like I say, that then it's obviously no longer original, even though it's been refinished the one time. And I just kind of wondered what Steve would think about that.
It's, you know, it becomes one of those questions. I think at this point, you're not going to put the original value back in. But, and there's going to be a real question at the end of this, okay, but hold on. But you can put value back into it. Because it's weird you mentioned Doug Turnbull, because I was going to say, contact Doug Turnbull. If he does a collar case hardening on it, the gun's going to be worth more, but it's going to be even further away from original. So as a collector item, it won't really be a collector item at that point. What it will be, though, is a very interesting gun, if that makes any sense.
Right, yeah.
And what it really comes down to, Peter, is, what's your interest in it? Do you want to preserve it as best you can as a piece of history, or you just want to have a cool gun that looks great and runs and you can go shoot it and tell people, this is a 1905 Colt, for heaven's sakes?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I've been tossing around for years. And of course, on the other hand, I really don't have a lot of interest in shooting it because those things are not as strong as a 1911.
No,
I guess you know that.
No, I probably wouldn't shoot it, but, and you know the drill. You know Turnbull's work. It is flawless.
Yes.
You would have a most interesting piece. If you don't plan on selling it to try to make money off of it, I probably, if it were me, I would lean toward making it pretty.
It's already been modified once. So
that's somebody has already ham-handed it with the polishing wheel, and screwed it up. So what the heck? Make it the way you want it to be.
Well, that makes some sense.
Go for it, Peter. Come on, go for it, buddy. We'll talk you into it.
If you talk to Doug, tell him hello for him. He's a fellow pilot.
Okay.
He flies a Piper PA-12. The pilots will know what that is, the Piper Super Cruiser. So it's an old tailwheel plane, which goes really well with his love of old guns. It's kind of all goes together.
That makes sense.
It does, doesn't it?
So indeed.
I tell you what, if you get the work done, let us know and somehow get us a picture of it, okay?
Well, I guess if I do decide to have the work done, I'll get some pictures first.
Before and after, yeah.
Before and after. These are interesting guns. I've got Pataki's book about it. And when you take it apart, the gunsmith who made the gun has his initials stamped in a couple places inside on the frame and so forth. And that stuff is all in there still. Cool. Apparently they were all handmade, basically, from the original production run.
That's cool. I'm looking at Gunbroker right now, 1905s. Here's one that has been restored, $1,895. That's at least the auction price at this point, I believe.
That's lower than I thought it would go for.
Yeah, but again, you say restored, and
that's the whole thing. Yeah, and there are not very many of them listed, as you might imagine.
No, I've looked at that a few times, and that's my thought, that sending it to Doug, you'd have the value of the work that he does in it back easily. Mm-hmm. Not, I don't know how much more value there is in something that's refinished that much. But it's just something interesting to have in the family, if nothing else.
Does it really matter if a gun's been refinished 1 time or 6 times?
Well, it could. If the rework didn't really mess it up, you'd say, okay, this is a restored gun, but it looks like the original, and it really wasn't boogered up. But in this case, if somebody it's stamped Colt on it with these letter stamps, you go, right. Oh, good Lord, please.
Stamped Singer on there and could have got $50,000 for it.
There you go.
And sometimes the different gunsmiths that do rebluing do such a good job. Unless you have a really keen eye to what a reblued gun looks like,
true, you
can't tell.
Yeah. The real work, and this kind of goes back to where we have the problem here, is a really good gun refinisher is actually a really good polisher. Mm-hmm. The polish is where the real artistry is. And there's science and mystic magic with rebluing, but if you can't polish it well, you messed up the whole gun.
And you can usually tell a good polisher by his knuckles with all the calluses on the cuts.
No, the guys who do it all the time, they're the ones you never want to get into an arm wrestling match with.
No doubt.
Holy cow.
Sitting at that wheel. Yeah,
they got forearms like Popeye. Well, I wish you luck with it, Peter. It's an interesting situation you have there.
Well, thank you. I just say maybe I'll call Doug and at least talk with him about it, see what he says, get some idea what it would cost. But I don't think he's ever going to be able to polish those Colt letters off the slide. I'm afraid they're going to be there.
Just fill them in with marks a lot or something. It'll be fine.
That's maybe what it needs.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate your call. You too.
Thanks.
Take care. Oh, man, that's one of those mixed bag deals, man. I've got this cool collectible old gun, but somebody really put the hammer on it and messed it up, and I don't know. I think we're at a place with that particular one where there's no right answer.
Right. Personally, what do you want to do?
Yeah, personal preference.
We could ponder that while we're on break.
Let's ponder away.
Whether you are a first-timer or seasoned shooter, Double Star has the guns, edged weapons, and parts you desire. Our products are made in America and held to the highest quality standards. No exceptions. Double Star and Ace Limited manufactures products people bet their lives on without hesitation. That awesome responsibility motivates the Double Star family, and it will proudly protect yours. When you're ready for the best, join our family at star15.com. That's star15.com.
Get ready for something totally new from LMT. A short personal defense weapon with an integral suppressor. Featuring new suppressor technology from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, the CSW, or Confined Space Weapon, has a 24-inch overall length profile and includes their new high-performance suppressor that can shoot supersonic and subsonic ammunition with no changes. Chambered for the 300 blackout, the CSW allows quick movement in tight quarters. For more, visit lmtdefense.com.
For tactical equipment for military, law enforcement, and shooting enthusiasts, look for the name Elite Survival Systems, creators of high-quality, intelligently designed products for concealed carry, discreet transport, and rigorous tactical uses. Elite Survival Systems knows there isn't just one method of carry that works for everyone. Elite offers a vast array of concealment products to fit your lifestyle, including holsters, belts, vests, pouches, slings, bags, backpacks, and cases. Find out more at EliteSurvival.com.
All right, and we're back from on Golden Ponder.
Thanks, Tom. Starting it out.
Yeah, we missed you.
We like to go from bad to worse. It's just, there is no other, that's as far as we get toward the good. Just start off with bad. I got to drive the Audubon.
Oh.
Ooh.
How fast?
Well, I'm a piker. I don't drive fast.
So you're just doing 100.
Little old ladies pass me up everywhere. But I prefer to put it in kilometers.
Sounds better.
170.
Oh, what's that work out to, about 110?
105, yeah, 105, 110, yeah. And you got, little old ladies in little Audis going,
blowing past you.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, here comes another one. They're flashing their lights behind you. Get over. Fool.
Yeah, if I understand, they don't have many wrecks, but when they do, they're big ones.
Well, the other thing is, people say, well, how can you go that fast? How can it be safe? Their roads are immaculate. It's German engineering. Mm-hmm. The roads are smooth and they're wide and they're well made and you don't feel like it's a problem. But to your point, yeah, if you have a wreck and everybody's going that fast, it takes a while for everybody to stop moving.
I don't suppose they tailgate there, though.
Right up your exhaust pipe. The old rule from driver's ed where you're supposed to be like one car length for every 10 miles an hour you're going?
Yep.
Yeah, no, they have 1 inch.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, it's actually 2.54 centimeters, Tom.
I see. Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Just trying to help out.
All right, Mr. Metric shows up again.
To the rescue.
Yes, it's Professor Metric to you. Okay. Got to see some cool guns. Some stuff from Switzerland. Talk about, people talk about as fine as a Swiss watch. There are some guns being made in Switzerland, the brands that we don't really know. And they're making cool, flip-out stocks and full auto gizwizzies and things we can't have. But it's fun to go around the booths there and just see what all is there. They had one booth that was just nothing but walnut stocks. I wanted to rent an 18-wheeler. Just to take them all.
Take the wood, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Now, what did you come across as far as, besides the Queensland guy? I mean, there's some really gun-oppressed countries, more so than we are even, and they still have guns, some of them, but, did you come across any of that? What
you find is that, with the exception of Australia, they are a different deal, because it was only recently that they lost a lot of their rights. Mm-hmm. Everybody else says, no, we have guns. It's not a problem here. And then you start talking to them. They go, yeah, well, it takes a year to get your license before you can buy a gun. And you have to go through this, and you have to go through that. And what you come away with is the realization that anything can become normal. It's what you know, and that's what's normal. And they will come. I had one guy from England coming back and said, well, you know, that's what we do, and you guys are crazy over there. I mean, they don't have any Second Amendment, and they really just feel like we should have a lot more restrictions, some of them. Now, others will say, of course, no, you know, hold on to what you got because ours is a pain in the rear, what we're having to do over here. But they do have guns in most of these countries. Generally speaking, it's for the more wealthy simply because it's expensive.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you know, we've had Bud Feeney on the show. Oh, we had him last week. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I was asking about that. I think we talked about on the air about him shooting clay targets inside. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the building is so big, they're throwing trap and skeet targets inside. I'm thinking, I want that. So I'm thinking maybe an old airplane hangar.
You can't use a rifle, Gresham. You got to use a shotgun.
No. You know what you could do? Lakehurst, New Jersey. Those big hangars where the dirigibles were. You know, because, I mean, we don't have the Hindenburg anymore. It's kind of toast, so to speak.
Boom.
But no, that was terrible. That was really awful.
But it was German, so it was a nice segue.
That's really bad.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch, I know.
It's a stretch. Anyway, but it was fun. It was. It's always a fun time there to talk with people with different perspectives. The guy from New Zealand was a hoot and a half. I mean, I met the guy. We shared a cab, and had never met him before. By the time we got to the hall, you know, he's inviting me to go to New Zealand, and we're going to shoot, you know, everything that moves out there. And you know, they shoot red stag and deer from helicopters.
Oh my!
Speaking of helicopters, newsflash that nobody's heard about yet. In the U.S., you know, there are a number of operations where they shoot hogs out of helicopters. The FAA this past week just issued an order stopping all flights in helicopters with the doors off because they had a crash in New York in the Hudson River, maybe, of a helicopter, and had like 5 people in the helicopter drowned because they couldn't get out of their harnesses. They had open door, you know, they were harnessed in, so they're trying to figure out what to do there. But the aftermath of that is going to be for operations that are doing hog hunting out of helicopters. They're going to have to stand down until this thing, they get it figured out.
I wonder if it's worded in such a way that they can have a portal to shoot through as opposed to an open door.
Good question. You know, how big does the window have to be before it's the door?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mr. Loophole, always thinking.
I like loopholes. They make good scopes.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Isn't that weird?
You mean it's not pronounced
two people,
Leopold?
Two people with one brain. Which means we each have a half brain.
Something like that.
Wait. So, and speaking of shooting from airplanes, there's always been the stories. You know, I used to live in Alaska, and they do the wolf hunts from super cubs. And every once in a while, someone will swing a little bit too far forward with their shotgun and blow their prop off, shoot themselves down.
Whoops.
And you're flying at about 50 feet. So it's kind of like, okay, we're landing right here.
Now.
Right now. Whatever's in front of us, that's where we're going. Here it is.
Oh, my.
Oh, well. So have you acquired any new guns, friends and neighbors?
No.
Well, what's wrong with you? I've been gone for 2 weeks.
I acquired batteries for a gun. Does that count?
Wait a minute. What? What kind of gun are you buying?
I had an interesting thing I asked Tom. What's the first thing you do when you're replacing the batteries on your laser on your carry gun? What's the very first thing you do?
I told him, shoot it until it goes click.
Which I like that answer, but it wasn't the one I was looking for. Do you know, Michelle? What's the first? I mean, this is a safety question. What's the first thing you do when you're working on your carry gun?
Well, first of all, it should be empty, unloaded. Okay, well, you verify that.
He actually has a fairly practical answer.
I do have a practical answer. Just everybody will think I'm nuts. The first thing I did was grab my second carry gun. Because what happens? Something happens. You're on the kitchen table. You're changing your batteries. Somebody kicks your door in.
That's right. A herd of ninjas comes flying through the door while you're cleaning your gun.
Okay,
you better have another gun ready to go.
But you don't know. What's the problem with that? Have it handy. As opposed to, hey, could you guys wait a second while I put this assembly back together? Just take a second.
You know, people have called me paranoid.
I was just thinking that, too. Yeah, they're kind of paranoid over there, Jim.
Yeah, okay.
That's one of the things we like about him.
Yeah.
You know what? I just heard that they can't fly the choppers over your house like they used to and hang out the doors. So,
They can hang out the windows now
you
still.
at least got that going.
Oh, good grief. Oh, golly. So let's see. I've been getting some interesting comments on old Twitter. People have learned they have to be kind of not nasty because I'll make them go away on Twitter.
Boot them.
But they do this passive-aggressive thing. It's really interesting. And they're going, okay, you really want to play this game? He says, I do get paid to do words. That's how I make my living here.
You do realize who you're messing with, don't you?
Just going, okay, come on, it's going to be fun. Come on, let's do this thing.
It's like sport for you.
Yeah, it is. It's actually like shadow boxing is practice because I can go, okay, well, I could say it this way or I could say it that way. And then I'll use that on the show when I come back.
Here's Tom with verbiage sparring.
That's right.
When you type it out, you'd be like, poll.
That's when you hit the send button.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I said to one, I said, I'm not following your non sequitur in the last thing you said there. I never heard back from her. Where I was talking about, Second Amendment, and she says, yeah, and people are racist. I'm going, okay, I'm not understanding the non sequitur between guns and racist. Was there a point you were trying to make? I'd like to follow you here. It's kind of like you're going, yeah, okay, just come on in and grab you a chunk of, this is going to be interesting. Let me introduce you to my friend Colin Noir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Dana can take it from here.
Yeah.
God,
so
I love that woman.
How do you guys think Dana's doing?
Well, she's on the cover of the new NRA Women's Magazine.
Is she?
Yes,
And
she
the
is.
regular
Well, I
mag.
shouldn't say Women's Magazine. It's First Freedom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love the woman.
Very well spoken. I don't think we could have a better spokesperson there than her.
Well, interesting thing. You know that she's getting death threats.
I'm sure, yeah.
And threats against her children. And I talked to another NRA official at Iowa, and he said he's getting death threats and people publishing where his young children go to school. So they're having to get security, and we're supposed to be the violent ones?
You're right. So that first right, being able to speak...
Well, you can speak as long as you
trumps
agree
everything,
with me,
right?
Yeah.
Being a bully.
The whole violent left, and part of what we're getting now is a doctrine of, it used to be, go back to Dr. Martin Luther King. He was basically against hate. That was the whole thing. We got to get rid of hate. And what we've got now on the left is hate is a virtue. It's okay to hate as long as you're hating the proper people. And when you watch what they're saying and how they handle everything, you realize that's really their position is it's okay to be full of hate and vitriol and call for, they say somebody should burn Dana Lash, what they said at the CNN town hall meeting, and say I hope your kids die and all of that. If you said that about them, that would be hate speech. But if they say it to you, it's just protected political speech.
Well, sure. You can't have it both ways, Tom. Come on. What are you thinking?
It's every once in a while. I know how it is, but every once in a while it really is frustrating. Mm-hmm. It is because you're thinking, okay, can nobody in the media see this at all? Will no one speak out about this double standard of people literally calling for the murder of people on the right? Well, not just calling for it. Trying to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Steve Scalise.
Mm-hmm. How many school walkouts were there after he was shot? Must have been hundreds, right?
Must have been zero.
A total of none.
Like none, and no calls for gun control. Because it was a conservative, actually it was a whole team of conservatives, Republicans, who got shot up.
Yeah, that's different.
Well, it's different because, once again, it's okay to hate, and it's okay to murder people of the wrong political persuasion.
Sweet.
Well, am I overstating this?
No,
I think if you start peeling out everything away, that's what you find at the little fetid bottom of the cesspool.
Well, your statement is correct, but it's only one direction. It's okay to, if turnabout's not fair play.
Yeah, evidently not. not in this case. Nope. I am still a fan. I think that Charlize Theron's thinking this through really well. Her mother saved her life with a gun, and so therefore that was gun violence. And what? I mean,
yeah, in earlier interviews I read like 10 years ago when that surfaced originally, saying that she was beaten. Her mother was beaten almost every day. She was beaten frequently, and her mother did indeed save her life. That Dad was going to kill her.
Right.
So she's saying she should have died. She would have been happier dying.
She and her mother are alive because her mother used a gun, and now she doesn't think other women should have that ability.
Well, you know what? That carries through. The hypocrisy carries through on all the Hollywood, not all the Hollywood types, several of the Hollywood types. They'll make their living off guns, yet pontificate on how evil they are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
make up your mind.
Liam Neeson, virulently anti-gun. Well, a lot of them are, and then they'll go make a shoot-'em-up movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, the award shows just drive me crazy.
Done with them.
Yeah.
Just
watch one
your
done.
Political stance.
And I'm not even sure I want to go to any concerts, because I feel like I'm liable to get lectured by a singer somewhere.
Right. And, that goes both ways. I mean, you've got the one end of the spectrum. You've got Ted Nugent. The other end of it, you've got Springsteen. And regardless who you side with, that's not why you're there.
Right. I didn't sign up for that. I didn't pay my money.
Right. It's like going to the dentist and having to give you a golf lesson. It's really not why I'm here, Doc. Can we move along?
Yeah, I had a couple of jokes that came to mind, and all of them are inappropriate, so we're not going there.
Even for the after show. Whoa.
Even for the after show.
Whoa.
That's right. But we'll put them on the internet, so it'll be okay. Where nobody will see them, right?
Right.
Oh, goodness. So, Michelle, have you guys been able to get any Ruger MPRs, those the new 9mm rifle? No.
The PC?
PC, yeah, thank you.
We've had one.
Yeah?
Yep, one.
Is that your house now?
It's evaporated. No, it's not. But
yeah,
I have a whole list of people who want them. Yeah,
oh, yeah. And I talked to them, and they said, man, we're making them as fast as we can. We just...
Right.
It's one of those that I think they really didn't understand what the demand was going to be.
Well, because they used to be out there, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's what the Glock bags, right?
Exactly. It'll take, it'll take both. So...
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they got blindsided by numbers or where it is, but of course 9mm, the main caliber of almost everybody who wants any type of concealed carry firearm in a semi-auto. I mean, that's the most common one. Right. So people would have these magazines sitting around to be able to throw into their rifle too.
Now, do you ever think they'll chamber that in anything but 9, Tom?
Well, it's funny. They said that. They said, yeah, as soon as we brought it out, people said, well, what about a 40? What about a 10?
Exactly.
What about the 45?
Well, we can't make them a 9. We're just trying to make the 9s right now. Give me a break.
But, they're not alone. SIG, that 365, they're kind of caught up with that whole situation, too.
Oh, yeah. Can't make them.
Yeah. And so there's a couple little hard-to-get lists that are out there, so be patient. Because
I do like the 365. It's
327 lever. 327.
Wait. We found a couple of those.
Mm-hmm. Did you buy it, Michelle?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah. Hold the proverbial trigger.
I looked at that one too. You know what I ended up deciding? It's going to sound weird. I said, okay, where would I use that? Well, I'm going to use it when I'm out west, hanging around our place in Idaho. And when I'm out there, my chosen handgun is a .357 Magnum revolver. And so if I'm going to have a lever action, I think I would like to have it in the same caliber.
Mm-hmm. So get all 4.
There's no...
So you need a revolver.
What are you lying about?
Collect the set.
What I'm saying, I'm thinking that you just need the revolver then to meet the lever.
Oh, I see. You're saying go the other way. Get a .327 revolver.
Yes.
I think this is the same guy who told us they're ballistically equivalent. You get an extra round. Now he's backpedaling.
Except that I'm carrying a 7-shot .357. Whoa.
Just get the bigger cylinder.
Yeah.
They make a 27-round cylinder.
But the thing is, I keep thinking, wouldn't it be nice to have a .44 Magnum carry that?
Well, see, here we have, that pesky little varmint, the groundhog.
The woodchuck.
All kinds of whistle pigs, whatever somebody wants to call them.
Pigs?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard that term.
No?
Oh, yeah.
Farmers pay us out here to do that. $5 a head to shoot ground dogs.
You're kidding me.
No, they destroy soybean and everything else.
Yeah, they're horrible. And it used to be that you couldn't, they were out there, but they were hard to come across, and people quit hunting them, I think, for a while. And now, shoot fire. It doesn't take long for them to take over
wild
again.
Boar, yeah.
Okay, so all right, here's the question. I've got my evil little brain is working on something here. So how do they know that you've shot one? If you want to get $5 for one, do you have to bring the tail in?
Retrieve them, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they would know the difference between a groundhog and a nutria?
Tom, ship me 10,000 nutria. No.
We're going to have us a convoy coming up there, baby. This is going to be a profit center for us.
Well, Farmer Jones, I got 10,000 of them in the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, they're all black. They're funny-looking groundhogs. They're black, and they have these like 2-foot-long tails, little skinny tails.
Boy, can those suckers swim in your field.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
For those who have not seen a nutria, think of a beaver with a cosmetic problem. It's like really, really dark black generally, some kind of a little bit tinge of brown, but they've got the skinny rat tail, and for whatever reason, the flat beaver tail makes them cute, and the skinny tail makes them just a big rat. But they're still like 20, 25 pounds.
Is that what made you buy the website nutrialivesmatter.com? Is that why you did that?
Didn't do that one. Oh, okay. But I think that may still be available to you.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now.
Okay, yeah. He's on GoDaddy right now. He's working it pretty hard. Yeah, because, you could make like dozens of dollars with that.
Oh, easy.
As long as you give it to somebody and give yourself dozens of dollars. So. Well.
Here, buy this from me so I feel better, will you?
But, yeah, I've shot a few groundhogs, not very many. It's different from shooting a prairie dog.
Oh, yeah.
You shoot a prairie dog, it just flies through the air and all that. You shoot a groundhog, it just kind of humps up, unless you shoot it with a Swift. Now that's
22-250.
22-250, yes,
Yeah.
And the Swift even more so. I mean,
yeah.
I always thought I had the biggest gun out there, and it was the fastest. And
of course you did.
When I had my 22-250, and then my buddy Joe Graham, who at the time was working at Pentax, and then ended up at the NRA. He brought his 220 Swift out. The difference was substantial.
Yeah.
I mean, it hits harder and it's faster. And, people say, well, it burns up barrels. I don't care. It's like the biggest, baddest thing. It is so cool.
I like people think, well, 22-250, it's just a 22. Right.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Well, that part's true. And what I say, it's a difference with no distinction in this case. It's like, who cares? But...
what caliber is kind of fun is that 204 Ruger.
That thing has a lot going for it, but is it selling any? Does it go anywhere? Does anybody care about it anymore?
Just farming, right?
Yeah.
But it's 20 caliber instead of a 22 caliber.
Right.
It's fast. I mean, it's like
fast.
over 4,000 feet per second.
Holy cow.
That's
better than HMR.
Oh, yeah. It's a screamer.
Wow.
But
it was a good caliber, and it didn't have a lot of recoil. And people say, well, 22 rimfires or 22 centerfires don't have recoil. Well, actually, they do. If you're shooting a groundhog or prairie dog, you would like to be able to see the hit through the scope.
Right.
That way, you can diagnose the wind and where your shot went if you missed, because a lot of times you don't have a spotter. If the recoil brings your scope off the target and you can't see where you missed, you're kind of guessing, I don't know where it went. So it didn't sound like it'd be a big deal. It's not about how it feels, but it's about being able to see the hits through the scope.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Makes total sense.
So what you do is you end up building a 24-pound rifle.
It's so practical.
That never moves.
No matter what. Hit it with my car and didn't move.
Listen, I've been out on prairie dog shoots with guys who are serious about it. They'll have a big pickup truck, and then they'll have a shooting bench, a swivel bench in the back of the bed of the truck. You can swivel around in 360 degrees with your seat and the rifle on there. So it's not a case of carrying this rifle. You could put a 22-pound rifle
like
up there.
It's a turret.
Yeah, it's a turret. It reminds me of an anti-aircraft machine gun on a Jeep.
What was that? That was just Tom. He went by woodchuck hunting, prairie dog hunting.
I mean, what do I say? There's no such thing as an inexpensive hobby. Yeah. It's like, okay, is there a way we can spend more money on? Oh, good, let's do.
Absolutely, yes.
It doesn't matter if it's duck hunting or prairie dog shooting or whatever. We're going to buy duck boats or turrets or whatever. We're going to keep doing it.
Well, that's because enjoyment factors into ROI. Most people don't factor that in.
As long as I'm happy, I really don't care.
There you have it.
About anything, right?
Sure.
Because anything else is, frankly, not my problem. Am I sounding empathetic now? I don't care about other people, truly.
Right.
Right. Well, for those who are still with us and haven't gone anywhere,
you say that plural. You say that in a plural sense.
Yes, I'm hoping both of them are still here.
Gotcha.
We were talking about this earlier, Jim. We have a good friend, old friend, who is in the hospital, probably not going to make it through the weekend. And it's just one of those reminders, and I just offer this to everybody. We all get busy, and life intrudes, and I would just encourage people to call your friends, people you may have lost contact with, or sometimes it's even family members where, we're still mad at each other. Really? About what? I don't know. And people say, well, I wouldn't even know what to say. That part's easy. That I can help with. You call them up and say, hello? I've been thinking about you. Just so, hello, I've been thinking about you. That's it. That's all you need. You're off to the races, right?
Mm-hmm. Puts it in their court, too, if they decide they don't want to. At least
and nobody ever does. If you call and say, hi, I've been thinking about you. Just wanted to, just say howdy. Well, what you been doing? Often, it doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be a 5-minute conversation.
It doesn't have to be an apology either.
No.
Necessarily.
Just a conversation. Say, just want to check in on you. How you been doing? That's genuine. But to all your, we all have friends who, either they were really good friends or acquaintances or whatever, and haven't talked to him. You think, remember old Joe? Man, I haven't talked to him in a while. Well, pick up the phone and call old Joe.
Yep, can't hurt.
What the heck? That's you may hear a funny story. At the very least, you can tell those stories about stuff you guys did in the past. So,
and if that's an inbound call to you, you're going to instantly think it's an Amway sales pitch coming up. Hey, I've talked to him 3 years. Oh, no, what's he selling?
Of course, with our cell phones, it comes up and you go, I don't know that number. I'm not answering it.
There you go.
And that's kind of where I am. So, I basically say, if they leave a message, then I will return it. If they don't leave a message, I didn't need to talk to them in the first place.
But everybody's had that regret and guilt after the fact.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
So avoid it.
And you can't beat yourself up over it. At the same time, it's just kind of one of those, we all get these nudges now and then of, what we should be doing. And the thing is, we know what we should be doing. And here's the question is, why do we not do the things we know we should do?
We all think we're too busy.
I think you're right, Michelle. We think we're too busy. Mm-hmm. I was writing about that this weekend. I said, we let the immediate take priority over the important, and that's foolish. You got to figure out what's the important thing. The immediate oftentimes isn't. It's just a case of, it's like people who are checking their phones all the time. Got to have the phone right there. They're just making themselves feel important. There's nothing in there that's that big a deal that you can't put it down and have a conversation over dinner without looking at your phone.
Right.
That's an ego thing. That's what that is.
I'll go on a phone-free date.
Phone-free date. But then how would you end up talking with the Amway people if you didn't have your phone with you?
It's true. I'd miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
Not to mention
enrich my life.
If you didn't have your phone, you'd really have conversation. You'd know what to talk about because it wouldn't have already been put out there on Facebook.
Oh, and it didn't happen, right? If it's not on Facebook, it never happened.
How could you look up anything that you're arguing about? Well, we'll Google that. Okay.
Damn, I just broke my own rule. You busted me.
All right, so I'm going to run out and buy me a 1905 Colt with all the markings ground off, but somebody had stamped Colt on top.
I know where you can get one.
I bet they don't have the Colt C on there.
Yeah, something tells me that this is some guy's toolbox. He got these little stamps pounded on it. What did he say, that one of the letters was crooked?
Yeah, the T was tilted.
How perfect.
Well, you know what that is? That's like a mismark on a coin, so that makes it a lot more valuable.
I'm going to CVS to buy some gun clips.
Yeah, because they got rid of the magazines.
Right.
Such a dork. I'm sorry, everybody.
I am a dork. Right? I'm manning up right here.
He is actually the president of Dorks R Us.
Dorks Unlimited, yeah. That's me.
Dorks Unlimited.
Yeah, they have banquets.
But they don't give away firearms.
But they don't give away firearms anymore.
They're not allowed.
That's right. Okay. We have gone full circle, and now we're going down the drain, so it's...
Clockwise or counter? Oh, no, you're back in the U.S.
Right,
okay.
That's right. We're still in the northern hemisphere, so it's okay. I wonder if that's true. Does water really go the other way?
I've heard it's whatever direction the water starts is the way it'll continue. And that's a common myth that they actually make money off sightseers in South America off. But it's BS, supposedly.
I need to go find out for myself.
But you can't do it without Google.
Field trip.
I'm not going to Google it.
It's a phone-free date, Michelle.
I'm going to Yahoo it.
Damn, loophole. I thought I was Mr. Loophole.
Back to the scopes again.
Here we go.
Oh, God. And on that note,
it's time for us to leave. Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.